If you are watching this video, you are most likely breathing in the same time. Most of the time, actions like breathing or blinking kind of run on a sort of autopilot, meaning that we do not have to carry out these actions consciously. Such a fine-tuned system that we humans have that I sometimes forget that I am breathing myself, and I think many of you will understand that feeling when you realize the same thing. So what is that secret ingredient in air that keeps us puffing on it all the time? As you can already tell, that is oxygen. Humans are simply addicted to this thing. So much so that a 5-minute withdrawal can be fatal. But why is it oxygen and not something else, like maybe carbon dioxide instead? I will try my best to explain that in this video, so stick with me for a few minutes. You see, your body is composed of trillions of cells. Although they are assigned different jobs within the body structure, they all have one thing in common: the need for energy. Energy serves to sustain a cell's existence, as well as allowing it to do whatever it is that it needs to do, be that multiplying or carrying out an assigned duty. To create energy we will need raw materials like glucose, proteins or lipids. These are gathered from the food that you eat. To put it simply, in order to extract the energy from these molecules, you will have to burn them, like how burning coal in a fireplace gives off energy in the form of heat and radiation, which is mostly visible in the form of a fire. In both of these cases, the ingredients will have to interact with oxygen, specifically to give it some electrons. But unlike the fireplace where the coal directly hands over the electrons to oxygen, resulting in what you call a fire, the food molecules undergo controlled steps, through a number of checkpoints, where the energy will be collected in a more manageable form. You're right, it's the man, the myth, the legend, ATP, the dollar of biological energy. Without oxygen, there will still be a little ATP, but that is nowhere near enough to sustain the whole body. Oxygen is like the guy you pay with electrons in your food for helping your cells make ATP, which is the form of energy that your cells can use to continue their activities. In case oxygen retires from his job, the only realistic option we have would be to hire nitrogen. This guy makes up 78% of the Earth's atmosphere, almost 4 times the amount of oxygen molecules. If you do the math, you can see that other gases are simply too little in quantity and cannot be used in a meaningful way like oxygen. However, when compared to oxygen, nitrogen is a very timid person who is not keen on doing business transactions with anyone, especially when you pay him in electrons. The nitrogen molecule consists of 2 atoms which prefer to stay together, as they share a triple bond that is hard to break. In contrast, oxygen is a very outgoing person, willing to react as long as you give them electrons. In fact, 65% of a human's mass is oxygen, due to most of you being water. Even the Earth's crust, which is the outermost layer, including the atmosphere, is almost 50% oxygen. However, most of that hadn't been in gas form yet until a few billion years ago when some microbes decided to eat sunlight and throw away oxygen. So much of that was accumulated that many species of microbes that did not like oxygen died out or had to relocate to places that has low concentrations of this toxic thing, like the deep ocean. While the loss of some types of microbes were regrettable, the work of sunlight-eating microbes paved the way for evolution as we know it. It seemed that oxygen was simply the only thing that could solve the question of energy for more complex life forms. In the same time, sunlight-eating creatures also became more complex as well, coming from the little cyanobacteria to the mighty coast redwood. The good thing for us humans is that trees produce so much oxygen that when we consider their need for energy, there is still a lot of oxygen left that is given freely to other life forms that need it. Not only that, trees are incredibly humble as well, silently giving away free stuff while accepting to stand wherever we put them, as long as there are enough resources to sustain it, of course. Even when we hurt them with an axe or a chainsaw, the tree just accepts its fate and falls like a hero. Now I understand why it was under the shade of a Bodhi tree that the Buddha reached enlightenment. Sometimes we just don't remember that we need trees more than they need us. A good amount of trees even make a city look better. Just look at Paris. Or Berlin. As humanity continues to destroy forests, we are slowly killing ourselves. One estimate points out that in 3,600 years, oxygen levels will be inadequate to sustain mankind, if current trends continue. If anyone still remembers how much oxygen means to us, it will be obvious to you that something has to be done to stop the harming of trees. But some of you will say, I'm just one person. Nothing I do will matter. I can understand that. We are often scared of doing something that most people don't, even though that might benefit everyone. But the more you harbor that thought, the more it will be reinforced in the minds of people around you. I know it takes a lot of courage, but once someone leads the way, eventually some people will follow them. The awareness of the community will grow like a snowball. Look at this man. His name is Jadot Payang and he lives in India. He is a common person like you and me, but he single-handedly planted 550 hectares of forest, where wildlife could thrive again. Of course, the world would be a better place if we have more people like him, but you don't have to do that much yourself. The best thing someone like you can do in this age of technology is to spread the word as far as you can, to your family members, your friends, people you know, and maybe more. Before doing anything worthwhile, everyone must have a basic understanding of the situation at hand. Remember that we have this intelligence not just to make our lives better, but also to protect the beauty that is life. A major part of that is proliferating trees, for it is not just us but also other life forms that depend on them. Thanks for watching.
It ain't the end of the world, buddy. Life rolls along like before. There's a twist and a turn to each lesson you learn. First you're up, then you're bust, living life on a crust. But it ain't the end of the world. It's only a fly in your soup. If your car falls apart or a broad breaks your heart, it's a stink, just a kink, nothing more.